What is up, everybody? It's June 17th, 2025. I got another quick, and I do mean quick, live stream video on today's episode of Beyond the Gates with my quick thoughts on today's episode. As usual, Tuesdays on this channel are all about the Traders OCG, my little reality competition show. Episode 5 airs in about a half hour. If you haven't watched, you should catch up and watch. As for Beyond the Gates, I have my problems. I do. And it will always be Ashley and Derek. I don't think I'm ever going to be ever I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get over how poorly their story has been written in the early days of this soap opera. And if they're going to continue to try and make Ashley work, making her as annoying as they have made her probably isn't the way. Her confronting her friend Naomi today was as eye roll worthy as most Ashley scenes. And yeah, maybe Naomi should have deterred Derek from proposing right now or got him to push it off. But that's just kind of been Derek and Ashley's relationship this entire time. It's a bad, boring relationship. And that's exactly how it's been written. So, my first part of this video will be my continuation of ranting about having to watch Ashley and Derek. This is the same show that for a few weeks had these two fighting about stupid stuff like a scratched refrigerator, doing magazine surveys, and yet I'm supposed to be invested in this drama. I'm just not invested. So to have to watch now going on several days of these two having drama, it isn't working for me. And to me, Ashley is the character that doesn't work. I think Derek doesn't work because the acting is so stiff and boring, and they write Derek is dumb too, to be fair. But Ashley is super annoying as a character. She is only good for me when she's in a scene as a nurse at the hospital. When she's being a nurse, supporting a story as a nurse, she actually worked. But anytime we have to see her personality, she's a pretty draining character. So, yeah, and we'll get to the comments yesterday. There was a couple that I'm hoping was sarcasm. I'm hoping it was sarcasm, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's touch upon Vanessa, Doug, Joey. It was good to see Doug finally do some standing up for himself. I do think overall, though, with this story, to me, I don't want to sit here and complain that the story is moving. I'm not going to complain about that at all. However, it seems like it has moved from 0 to 100 very quickly. And I think my issue with it is similar to the Leslie Cat stuff, where it's all very plot driven. I I guess Beyond the Gates is really trying to become a plot driven, bold and the beautiful type of show. I don't think that's for the best overall. I do think when the show first started, we saw they were actually trying to give characters some layers. In recent weeks, characters are just kind of filling plot points, and that is how I'm feeling with Vanessa, Doug, and Joey. I just feel as though nobody is really in character except for maybe Vanessa. I feel like Joey giving in so easily to Vanessa yesterday isn't exactly the Joey that the show has been building up as someone that could have been a potential big bad on the show. I feel like Doug has always been written as way too much of a pushover, borderline stupid for someone that's supposed to be a surgeon. And I just don't know if he's always in character either. So for me, outside of Vanessa, everyone right now in the story is kind of a plot point. And even Vanessa herself, I've always said she's been one of the bigger caricatures on the show. And I do still feel that way. But I'm kind of intrigued to see what we get out of this dynamic now that Doug is throwing himself into the ring of possibly wanting to do business with them as well. I don't exactly hate the fact that Doug was kind of all over Vanessa today, talking his shit. I think he needed to do that. I think, yes, Doug is the one that got them into this predicament with Joey because of his gambling addiction, but he has every right to call Vanessa out on her shit. I wish her friends would start calling Vanessa out on her shit, but we'll see what becomes of these three with these new dynamics. If the dynamics stay plot driven, I don't really know if I'm gonna love it, but we'll see. Kaiwan, shout out to Kaiwan in the comments saying the Derek storyline is not heating up at all. Yeah, I mean, Derek and Ashley are never going to heat up because they've made it so hard for most of us to invest in them. And then Kaiwan's also saying this cop character has something to do with Martin's secret. Yeah, for sure. The voiceover in the dream is definitely Marcel as well. I think that he sounded like Marcel to me. We saw Smitty talking to Marcel yesterday. I didn't touch upon that yesterday. I don't think so. I do like that they're bringing Marcel into the Martin storyline. As for today, Martin confronted the mystery man that's been following him around, who I think is still someone working for Smitty. Smitty is dead set on getting to the bottom of this dream, and by the end of this episode, we can see that happening again. I hope, and I feel like I say this a lot lately, I hope this is inching us one step closer to Martin's secret actually coming out, and hopefully it is a big bomb dropped on us that is actually very intriguing. I'm hoping it is the case because I do think this show needs a new big thing happening in July to really kind of ramp up the drama again. I did enjoy, well, I do enjoy Chelsea and Madison. We talked about it yesterday. It's good to see an American daytime soap opera actually have a lesbian love scene, period. Um, I don't know why Chelsea is seeming to want to rush this so fast. I don't know if they're trying to make Chelsea like Danny, where today Chelsea is thinking she's already in love with Madison. It is the type of desperation that her mother Danny gives when it comes to Bill. So I actually do like that writing dynamic. I shit on this show when it starts to get too plot heavy, but when we get some good writing with the characters like this for Chelsea, I have to give it some props. I am still on the fence about Chelsea and Madison as a couple, but this show needs a couple that we get to see develop from the beginning. And that couple, however, needs some actually really interesting obstacles. And that might be something that Chelsea and Madison are missing, is some obstacles that are interesting to keep them apart. But as for now, I'm digging the Chelsea stuff. I also like that Chelsea once again walked in on her mother with Andre today. She has been getting closer to the truth with them. And by the end of the episode, seems to be calling her mother out on having a new man in talking about Andre. I'm not looking forward to Danny becoming a part of the triangle with Andre and Ashley. I thought maybe I could get there just like a week or two ago. I was sitting here and saying that maybe because I do enjoy the dynamics between Danny and Andre. I really do. So I was hoping that if Ashley does become more and more added to those dynamics as that becomes the more main triangle and they maybe phase Derek away, at least from Ashley. I was hoping I could like it more, but I don't think I'm gonna. Ashley's just not a good character. She's not. And that brings me to one of the comments yesterday. That I was hoping was sarcasm, but maybe Mr. Damon Millline 9227 said, I like Andre and Ashley. I think they will be a super couple. My guy. This had to be sarcasm. Please tell me this was sarcasm. It was the super couple portion of the sentence that made me think this was sarcasm. But then later on in the comments, Damon said to each their own. So maybe it was serious. I'm not going to judge you, or at least I'm not going to say on camera that I'm going to judge you for thinking that Andre and Ashley could be a super couple. But, maybe they do have one fan out there. Maybe they actually do have um a fan out there. But for me, it's a hard no. Just mostly because of the character of Ashley in general. Himi was saying in yesterday's comments that she didn't like the episode at all, and it made her realize that soap operas might not be for her. Um, it's oversaturated with relationship drama and not enough story involving the world the characters come from. Andre is a photographer, but he's always at the hospital or in Danny's bed. Bill has a law firm, but we haven't seen him try a case. He's just having sex with Haley. Kat and Chelsea have a fashion business, but Kat is worrying about Tomas and Eva playing detective while Chelsea is catching feelings for everyone she meets. I mean, touche. Soap operas will always be about relationship drama first, but as I said in the comments, back in the day, soap operas were able to let people's jobs be actual parts of the storylines more, and it would be nice if that was more of the case here sometimes. And then Ray Ray said, "I never saw a lesbian love scene on daytime TV. Um, do we know any other lesbian scene on any soap ever?" As I said, on an American soap opera, not that comes to mind. I didn't keep up with all my children in the late 2000s. So the only character I could think of that could have had a love scene that I didn't see is maybe Bianca, or maybe something happened on Passions that I never saw. But for me, I thought the love scene yesterday was a good direction, a good pushing the envelope, something American daytime has needed for a long time. Because British soap operas have been going there for quite a while now. So it's nice to see American soap operas catch up with the times, at least.